Our story begins with Ha-jin sitting on a wooden pier with a busted lip. She swigs soju from a green bottle. A homeless man sits nearby, eyeing her drink. She offers the bottle to him. She asks him if he's ever wanted to sleep for 1,000 years. She cries, explaining she trusted a friend who deceived her and ran away with her boyfriend, leaving her with a mountain of debt. The homeless man mutters, "She can't change her life just by wanting it to change." A young boy leans too far over the water and falls in. Ha-jin hesitates. She looks around for someone else to help, but no one notices. She dives into the water. The boy's father finally sees the commotion and rows a boat out to pull his son to safety. Ha-jin reaches up to take the father's hand. Above them, the sky darkens as a total solar eclipse begins. Her eyes widen in shock. An unknown force drags her violently beneath the surface. She sinks deeper as the moon completely covers the sun. A man in black robes charges into the capital city of Ryeo on horseback. A half mask covers his face. This is Wang So, the fourth imperial prince. Terrified villagers scatter out of his path. He leads a team of riders straight toward the palace. Inside the royal bathhouse, the other princes relax in the pools. The 10th prince, Un, splashes around playfully with the 14th prince, Young. The 3rd prince, Yo, watches them with a sharp glare. The 8th prince, Wook, stands nearby. They discuss So's impending arrival for the palace's cleansing ritual. Yo points out the rumors spreading through the city. People say So kills viciously, tearing through victims like a wolf. Un sinks beneath the water's surface. Right behind him, Ha-jin bursts out of the water, gasping for air. She's fully dressed in traditional Goryeo clothing. She locks eyes with Un. They both scream. A servant girl named Chai Ryung waves frantically from the bushes, gesturing for her to run. The princes stare in shock. Ha-jin scrambles over the stone barrier and disappears. Wook whispers the name Hae Su. Ha-jin runs into the courtyard, takes one look at the historical clothing of the people around her, and faints. So arrives at the palace gates and dismounts. A guard reminds him to greet the king and immediately return to his adoptive family in Shinju. So pulls his sword and strikes his horse, killing it in one blow. The courtyard freezes. The guard stutters that weapons aren't allowed inside, so tosses the sword to him and announces he isn't going back to Shinju. From the shadows, the homeless man from the pier watches him walk away. Ha-jin wakes up inside a strange bedroom. An older woman introduces herself as Lady Hai, her cousin. Chai Ryung calls her Hae Su. Ha-jin realizes she didn't die. She runs outside and stares at the sprawling estate. Lady Hai explains they're at the residence of the 8th prince, Wang Wook. Ha-jin pieces the historical names together and realizes she's in Goryeo, living during the reign of King Taejo. King Taejo presides over his court. A dead bird lies on the floor, having eaten the crown prince's poisoned breakfast. An official begs Taejo to dethrone Crown Prince Mu, claiming the prince suffers from an incurable disease. Taejo asks the other princes if any of them want the throne. Wook drops to his knees. He begs the king to retract his words. The other princes quickly drop to their knees to join him. Astronomer Choi Ji-mong steps forward. He declares the stars prove Mu isn't unfit to rule. Taejo confirms Mu will lead the upcoming ritual. Yo scowls. Queen Sin Myung-sun-sung learns Mu survived the poison. A court lady announces her son, So is waiting outside her door. The queen refuses to see him. So turns away, his face hardening in rejection. Ha-jin locks herself in her room. She decides she has to stick it out and survive as Hae Su. Wook forces the door open. He tells her not to fear. He holds out his hand and promises to help her through to the end. Su looks at his hand, finds her determination, and takes it. So remembers his childhood. His mother held a dagger to his throat to force Taejo to abandon his plans for a new marriage. Taejo lunged and grabbed her arm. She wrenched free. The blade slashed across young So's face, leaving him permanently scarred. Su wanders the estate grounds. Princess Yeonhwa approaches her with a sharp smile. She insults Su's lack of manners. Su stares back and tells the princess to stop hiding behind a fake smile and just admit she dislikes her. The princess yells. Wook steps in to stop the fight. He pulls Su into the library. Su quickly promises to make herself useful around the house. Wook stares down at her. He notes she seems like an entirely different person, so searches Ji-mong's tower. Ji-mong reveals the servant who poisoned Mu's breakfast was found hanging in a staged suicide. Crown Prince Mu steps out from the shadows. He asks So to catch the culprit behind the assassination attempt. So demands his price. If he succeeds, he wants to live in the capital permanently. Su rests outside and spots Ji-mong walking by. She recognizes his face as the homeless man from the pier. She chases him through the city streets but loses him in the crowd. So gallops down the dirt road on his horse. Villagers dive for cover. A passing peddler knocks Su backward. She loses her balance and falls toward a steep ditch. So reaches down, grabs her waist, and pulls her up into his saddle. So rides forward with Su clinging tightly to him. He halts the horse and drops her onto the dirt. She yells at him for his rudeness. He rears the horse on its hind legs to scare her, then rides away with a smirk. The princes gather at Wook's home to discuss the upcoming ceremony. Princess Yeonhwa invites So to stay with them. Yo interrupts, stating, So understands beasts better than people. So fires back, stating that's why he understands Yo so perfectly. Su sneaks into the room and hides behind a pillar. Eun spots her. He points and accuses her of being the peeping Tom from the baths. Panicked, Su bumps into a maid. Plates crash to the floor. She scrambles out of the room. Yoon wanders outside and spies on a maid changing clothes. Su catches him and demands he apologize to the servant. Yoon scoffs at the idea of bowing to a slave. Su grabs his cloak. He shoves her to the dirt. Su trips him, climbs on top of him, and strikes him. They roll on the ground, pulling hair and biting. The other princes run outside. Su headbutts Eun. She pulls her arm back to slap him, but So catches her wrist. Wook steps in to pull Eun away. Su yanks her hand free. She demands an apology from So for dropping her off his horse. He leans down close to her face. He warns her that if he apologizes, she'll have to die. Lady Hae interrupts and pulls Su away to the temple. How do you survive in a world where a single misstep or a careless word to the wrong person guarantees your death? Lady Hae shows Su a tower of prayer stones she built for her. She cries, apologizing to Su's deceased mother for failing to protect her. Su breaks down in tears. She realizes her careless actions have severe consequences for the people keeping her alive. So pushes past a court lady and steps into his mother's room. His hopeful smile drops. Queen Sin Myung-sun-sung sits comfortably with Yo and Young. She refuses to look at So. So asks for permission to stay in the capital. The queen refuses, calling him a member of the Shinju clan. So's voice shakes as he states he's a hostage, not an adopted son. The queen dismisses him. So reaches into his cloak to give her a hairpin, but Young presents one first. So keeps his gift hidden, turns around, and walks out. So stands alone in the royal pool. He takes off his mask, revealing the jagged scars across his eye and back. Su bursts out of the water right in front of him. They lock eyes. So covers his face and asks if she saw. She stares in silence. He lunges forward, grabs her throat, and screams his question again. She nods and begs for mercy. He orders her to forget everything, grabs his clothes, and leaves. The hairpin drops from his robes onto the floor. Su picks it up. Su walks back to the estate. The entire household stands outside waiting for her. Lady Hae scolds her for vanishing without a word. Su stares at them and realizes she's finally come home. The princes perform a synchronized sword dance in the courtyard to drive out evil spirits. So wears the crown prince's robes and a mask, taking Mu's place in the formation. Men in demon masks leap into the courtyard and draw actual swords. The ritual turns into a bloodbath. The princes fight back to protect the king. Yo pretends to fight a demon, then intentionally shifts his blade to slice So's arm. So falls to the ground. The real Mu jumps in to protect him. The assassins scatter and flee into the city. So chases the assassins into the woods. Su, out wandering the city, spots him and follows him into the dark trees. She stumbles into a clearing and watches Yo order his guards to execute the surviving assassins. Su gasps. Yo turns toward the sound, but she runs away. So corners the final assassin. He demands to know who hired him. Su runs straight into the standoff. The assassin grabs her and holds a blade to her throat. So smirks, points his own sword directly at Su's face, and tells the assassin to kill her. Su bites the man's hand and shoves him away. The assassin raises his sword to strike her down. Wook throws a dagger directly into the assassin's head, killing him instantly. Furious at losing his only lead, So grabs Su and presses his sword against her neck. Wook steps forward and holds his sword to So's throat. So turns his blade to clash with Wook's. Wook demands, "So release Su." So shoves her toward Wook. Su cries and explains she saw dead assassins nearby. They search the area, but the bodies are gone. Wook points out the bloodstains and deduces someone killed their own men to hide the evidence. So glares at Wook, blaming him for killing the only remaining witness. The queen stews over her failed plot to eliminate the crown prince. Yo reassures her that he destroyed all evidence. They wonder how So learned to fight so fiercely while living as a hostage. The queen orders Yo to uncover So's secrets. Princess Yeonhwa tends to So's wounded arm. She leans close to wipe his face. He tenses, then stands up abruptly to break the closeness. Su walks through the courtyard. Wook stops her, smiling as he admits he finds her unconventional spirit delightful. Later, So corners Su. He grabs her face, demanding she remember anything else from the forest. Wook intervenes and pushes So's hand away. Su suddenly recalls the assassin leader wore fur. So realizes it's Yo. He immediately orders Su to erase the memory. Su shouts back, asking if wanting to live is a crime. She refuses to die like a dog. King Taejo investigates the attack. So pledges to stay in the capital to catch the mastermind. The king agrees. So struggles to hide his relief. Mu and So inspect the retrieved bodies. They discover the assassins' tongues are missing. They realize these are renounced monks. So confronts Yo, accusing their mother. Yo's panicked reaction confirms the truth. Su and Lady Hae hand out alms in the village. Wook treats the cut on Su's neck. He sits close, brushing her hair aside. They stare at each other. That night, as they tuck Lady Hae into bed, Wook's and Su's pinky fingers brush. Su pulls away quickly. So rides to the temple subsidized by his mother. He walks inside and draws his sword. The tongueless monks attack. So cuts them down one by one, tearing through the horde until the ground is slick with blood. He corners the head monk, runs him through with his blade, and sets the temple on fire. Queen Sin Myung-sun Song wakes up. So stands at the foot of her bed, his face smeared with blood. He smiles. So tells his mother he killed the monks to protect her. Her face twists in disgust. She calls him a beast. She states he isn't her son, but a disgrace she abandoned long ago. So's smile vanishes. Tears fall as he promises she'll never be able to ignore him again. He turns and leaves. So staggers to the courtyard and kicks down the stone prayer towers. Su runs out to stop him. He grabs her collar, laughing as he shows her his blood-stained hands. He yells that he killed people. Su doesn't flinch. She looks at him and says she understands his pain. So's grip loosens. King Taejo questions the queen about the temple. So steps forward. He claims he burned the temple, and Wook chimes in, stating, So did it to protect the queen from false rumors. The queen glares at So. Lady Hae asks Wook to take a second wife or divorce her. She knows her illness prevents her from giving him an heir. She looks at him and states she knows he doesn't love her. Wook refuses her request, but tears fill his eyes. Princess Yeonhwa catches Chai Ryung with a royal hairpin. She prepares to whip the servant. Su throws herself in the way and demands to take the punishment. Yeonhwa ties Su's hands and strikes her. The princes gather, but no one steps forward. So grabs Yeonhwa's arm. He takes the hairpin and announces that Su belongs to him. Wook stands outside Su's room. She opens the door. He hands her a box of medicine and promises no one will ever treat her like an animal again. Su tracks down. So, she demands he stop saying she belongs to him. She insists she's a person, not a thing. So leans in close and asks if he should call her his person instead. Su stammers and walks away. Thugs drag Young into a bamboo forest. Their leader plans to chop off Young's arm as revenge against the queen. Su charges in screaming, swinging a tree branch. Young breaks free and shields her. Wook arrives and fights off the men. So rides in moments later, and the thugs flee in terror. Young thanks Wook and Su, completely ignoring So. Young calls Su his older sister. Wook walks ahead of Su on the path home. She feigns a leg injury to make him stop. He turns, grabs her shoulders, and admits he was terrified of losing her. He leans in to kiss her. A search party calls out, breaking the moment. Will he break his vows for a woman who doesn't belong in this century? So scolds Young for his recklessness. Young yells back, claiming he's embarrassed to share the same womb as So. So slaps him. The queen bursts in, shoves So away, and fusses over Young. She orders So to stay away from her favorite son. Su finds So stacking the prayer stones he ruined. He tells her the king permitted him to move into the palace. Su softens. She tells him to eat well, sleep well, and avoid bad dreams. So stares at her, captivated by her lack of fear. Snow begins to fall. Su smiles up at the sky. So watches her. From a distance, Wook watches them both. So carries his belongings into the astronomer tower. He ignores Choi Ji-mong's protests and claims he needs a better view of the stars. At the 8th prince's residence, Lady Hae presents Su with a collection of medicinal herbs sent by Wook. Su smiles broadly and immediately begins mixing the ingredients to create soap. Wook watches her from a distance, a warm smile spreading across his face. Lady Hae notices his expression and asks Su to fetch ink from the library. Wook waits inside the library. He hands Su a poem written in complex characters and instructs her to read it carefully. Su takes the paper back to her room but struggles to read the characters. Baek-ah intercepts the note and begins reading it aloud. He stops short when he realizes it is a love poem. Lady Hae steps into the room and recites the rest of the poem from memory. She smiles placidly, fully aware of her husband's feelings for Su. Baek-ah confronts Su outside, accusing her of stealing glances and exchanging touches with Wook. He warns her that Lady Hae knows everything. Wook steps forward and apologizes to Su, taking the blame for giving her the poem. Su hides the poem inside a book in her room, while Wook locks her soap in a wooden box. Su draws a smiling face with raised arms to reply to Wook and leaves it on his desk. Yoon snatches the paper before Wook can hide it. The princes gather around and stare at the strange symbol in utter confusion. So steps forward, raises his arms, and mimics the drawing. He explains it is a face laughing with excitement. Everyone laughs at the display. Lady Hae coughs blood into her handkerchief. She tosses her precious belongings into a burning fire. She asks Su to apply her makeup one last time, wanting to look beautiful for her husband. Tears fall down Su's face as she brightens her cousin's pale skin. Wook walks with his failing wife through the falling snow. Lady Hae touches his face, pleading with him to watch over Su. She whispers that loving him was enough, and her hand goes limp. Su cries out from behind them. Wook shushes Su, telling her not to wake his wife. He continues walking forward, carrying her lifeless body. Wook sits alone by the funeral pyre, sobbing violently. He admits to Su that he loved his wife, but never said the words. He cries that he missed his chance. Su holds his shoulders and lets him cry. Eun stands on the backs of his servants to reach Su's window. He puts on a puppet show to make her smile. Yeonhwa arrives with news shortly after. She announces Su is being married off to an elderly man with many sons. Su jumps up and packs her belongings, refusing to accept the marriage. The princes coordinate an escape plan. Wook and Young ride out with Su on horseback. An older man intercepts their path. He pulls back the cloak of the rider to reveal Eun acting as a decoy. The man laughs, revealing that the actual groom is King Taeho. So charges forward on his horse. He scoops Su up into his saddle and rides away. Ji-mong blocks their path with palace guards. He declares Su must obey the royal command. Su slides off the horse to prevent the princes from facing treason charges for aiding her escape. She climbs into the palanquin. The princes kneel outside the king's chamber, begging him to reconsider the marriage. Inside, the king ignores their pleas. Su grabs a glass vase and smashes it against the floor. She plunges a jagged shard into her own wrist. Blood pours down her arm. She tells the king that a woman with a scar cannot become a royal bride. The king laughs at her courage and cancels the wedding. Su faints into Wook's arms. She is reassigned as a court lady under concubine Oh. Su begins her new life in the palace. So stops her in the corridor and grabs her bandaged wrist. He glares at her, furious that she scarred herself to avoid marrying the king. He warns her never to hurt herself again and tells her he will not forgive her if she does. Crown Prince Mu screams in agony, clawing at his red, inflamed skin. Su recognizes the eczema. She crushes peppermint leaves into warm water to soothe the itching. Court lady Oh bursts in, throws Su to the floor, and furiously reprimands her for discovering a royal secret. She punishes Su with harsh labor to keep her silent. Wook finds Su struggling to write characters. He leans in close, wrapping his hand over hers to guide the brush. Wook ties a red-corded jade bracelet around her scarred wrist. He asks her to promise she will never take it off, vowing to restore her freedom. Su smiles and nods. He kisses her forehead. Yoon celebrates his birthday. Su sings a lively song for the princes, leaving them utterly captivated. Yo leans over and manipulates Yoon into asking So to take off his mask as a birthday gift. The room falls dead silent. So hesitates. He slowly unties the strings and lowers the mask, exposing his deep scar. The princes look away uncomfortably. So stares at Su, drops the mask, and storms out. Su chases after him and grabs his arm. So spins around and slams her against a wooden pillar. He commands her to look at him properly. His chest heaves as he grits out that he hates the pity in her eyes. A severe drought plagues Goryeo. The king selects So to lead the rain ritual. So walks through the capital in ceremonial robes. The villagers hurl mud and stones at him, calling him a monster. Overwhelmed and terrified, So drops his ceremonial jug and flees the ritual. Su finds So hiding in an abandoned boat. She tells him he cannot hide forever. She brings a small pot of concealer she crafted herself. She sits in front of him and gently dabs the makeup over his scar. The jagged lines vanish into smooth skin. So grabs her shoulders. He stares at her intently, declaring she belongs to him. So returns to the ritual unmasked. The villagers gasp at his flawless face. They drop to their knees and bow. Thunder rumbles overhead. Heavy rain begins to pour down. Su stands in the crowd, watching the rain wash over So. He turns toward the crowd and flashes a sharp, cold smile. A vision strikes Su. She suddenly realizes the man standing before her is the future king Gwangjong, the monarch destined to slaughter his siblings. Su trembles violently, terrified of the bloody future she just foresaw. Wook pulls her under the eaves to shield her from the rain. He hugs her and asks her to marry him, promising to take her away to a peaceful life. Su walks through the garden. So steps out and grabs her waist, pulling her flush against him. Su screams and struggles. So tells her she is the only person on his side. Queen Sin Myung-sun Seong plots to assassinate the crown prince with poisoned tea. Su unknowingly carries the tea to the royal table. So notices his mother's smug expression and realizes the trap. To prevent Su from facing execution for treason, So interrupts and demands the tea for himself. He drinks 3 full cups without faltering. He forces a smile, excuses himself, and begins coughing up blood as he walks away. So stumbles through the corridor and collapses from the poisoned tea he drank earlier. Su screams for help. Yeonhwa sips the remaining tea, spits it out down her sleeve, and bites her lip to fake being poisoned. Guards arrest Su and brutally torture her. Wook visits Su in her dark cell, touching her bloodied hands. He promises to get her out. Wook discovers Yeonhwa orchestrated the assassination plot. Yeonhwa challenges him, stating he must abandon Su or risk their entire family being executed for treason. Wook lowers his weapon, choosing his family over his promise. Court Lady Oh kneels before King Taejo and confesses to the poisoning to save Su. She pulls out blood-stained baby clothes, revealing the queen killed her unborn child years ago. She admits she is dying of stomach cancer and begs to take Su's place on the gallows. Su kneels in the pouring rain, pleading for Court Lady Oh's life. Wook approaches, but stops, turns his back, and walks away, abandoning her. Does survival always require the sacrifice of the very things that make life worth living? Su sobs uncontrollably as Wook retreats. A shadow falls over her. So steps up beside her, opening his black cloak to shield her from the heavy rain. A loud gong echoes through the courtyard. Court Lady O is hanged. Su faints into So's arms. The king sends So away to later Jin as an ambassador. Su is stripped of her rank and sent to the wash house as a lowly water maid. A year passes. Su scrubs heavy laundry with blistered hands. Wook watches her from a distance. He turns away without speaking. Later that night, he visits her. He breaks down in tears, apologizing for his cowardice and his inability to protect her. Su hangs wet clothes on the line. Strong arms wrap around her from behind. So rests his chin on her shoulder. He turns her around, revealing he is no longer wearing his mask. He tells her he missed her and intends to take her out of her current situation. King Taeyo lies on his deathbed. He orders Su to fetch the crown prince immediately. He tells her to trust absolutely no one, as the fate of Goryeo rests on her shoulders. Yo and Wook put on armor and block the palace exits to seize the throne. Su runs into Wook in the courtyard. She asks if the king has passed away. Su stares at his armor and realizes Wook intends to commit treason. She backs away and flees. So yanks Su out of sight to safety. She tells him the king is dead and Wook is leading a rebellion. So's jaw clenches. He realizes his brother's ultimate betrayal. So tasks Becca with finding the crown prince using a secret path shown by Woo Hee. The crown prince ascends the throne as King Hae-jong, but the peace is short-lived. King Hae-jong is dead, poisoned by Chae-ryung. Yo now rules as King Gwangjong. He orders the execution of Un and Soon Deok. Soon Deok fights the soldiers to protect her husband, but a blade strikes her down. She dies in Yoon's arms. Gwangjong shoots Yoon with an arrow. So arrives just as Un begs him for a mercy kill so he can join his wife in the afterlife. So raises his sword, strikes Un down, and then laughs hysterically in agonizing grief. Su breaks down, realizing her vision came true, but So's actions were a tragic act of mercy. So leaves the palace and vows to become king. 2 years pass. So returns. Gwangjong hallucinates Yoon's ghost and descends into madness. So saves Su from a deadly arrow fired by Gwangjong in a fit of paranoia. Su visits So in his quarters. She traces the scars on his back and asks if he still loves her. So turns and kisses her passionately. They spend the night making shadow puppets on the wall, laughing together. So admits he wants the throne to put an end to the bloodshed and protect the people he cares about. Gwangjong suffers a fatal heart attack after hallucinating his dead relatives. He hands a blank abdication decree to Su, then collapses and dies. So bursts into the room, reads the blank decree, and tears it up. Su drops to her knees and declares So the new king. So officially becomes King Gwangjong. He stops the construction of the new capital and frees the slaves. So and Su share a meal and sleep in the same bed, finding a brief moment of peace. Yeonhwa demands Wook help her become queen. Wook angrily smashes the jade bracelet he once gave Su. The royal doctor examines Su and tells her that her knee injury and heart palpitations mean she has less than 10 years to live. Wook offers So the support of the powerful families if he marries Yeonhwa. He points out that Su's self-inflicted scar prevents her from ever becoming queen under palace law. So refuses to abandon Su despite her scar. He takes Su to the market in disguises and proposes to her at the prayer stones. Su declines, refusing to be constrained by palace rules and unwilling to weaken his political standing, so embraces her and declares she is his only queen. So marries Yeonhwa in a political alliance. Su tries on a wedding hanbok alone in her room, staring at her reflection with tears in her eyes. On their wedding night, So pushes Yeonhwa away, demanding she turn her back on Wook if she wants her son to be crown prince. So visits his dying mother, Queen Yu. He tells her he will build a temple and be her only precious son as revenge for her abandoning him. She touches his face and dies. So breaks down sobbing, holding her lifeless hand against his cheek. So discovers Chae-ryung poisoned Crown Prince Mu and betrayed Yoon. He orders her beaten to death. wrapped in a straw mat. Su finds Chae Ryung's bloody body and faints. She reads Chae Ryung's hidden letter and is left completely devastated by her friend's betrayal. Su hands her hairpin to Baeka, asking him to send Jung the message. "I want it," Su tells. So she wants to leave the palace, but So refuses to let her go. Woo Hee, torn between Baek-ah and her Baekja people, jumps off the palace wall to her death. Baek-ah sobs over her lifeless body, devastated by the loss. Wook gifts So a hunting hawk, but the bird is dead inside the cage. So accuses Wook of treason and sentences him to lifelong house arrest. Yeonhwa tells Su that Su's warning about So caused Wook's ruthless transformation. Su realizes her attempts to change the future only cemented it. Jung brings a decree from the late king approving his marriage to Su. So confronts Su, and she confirms she wants to marry Jung to leave the palace. Wook confesses to, so that he and Su were previously promised to each other. So confronts Su about Wook, and she confirms it. Feeling utterly betrayed, So declares he will never see her again. Su leaves the palace. Wook hugs her goodbye, telling her to forget everything. So cries alone in his chambers, clutching Su's wedding hanbok. Su arrives at Jung's home, and they live together as friends. A doctor examines Su and confirms she is pregnant with So's child. So spies on Su and Jung, misinterpreting their friendship as romance. Heartbroken, he orders his guards to stop sending reports about them. 6 months later, Su gives birth to a baby girl, but her health deteriorates rapidly. She writes a letter to So, pleading to see him one last time. Jung sends it, but covers the envelope in his own handwriting. So believing the letters are from Jung, ignores them. Su dies in Jung's arms while a band plays the song she once sang for the princes. So learns of Su's death and finally opens the letters. He breaks down, realizing she loved him until the very end. So arrives at Jung's house and takes Su's urn, sobbing as he calls her his person. Years later, So meets a little girl wearing his hairpin. Jung rushes over to protect the girl. So realizes the child is his daughter. He lifts Jung's exile so the girl can live freely without being trapped in the palace. An eclipse occurs. Su wakes up in the 21st century as Ha-jin, crying. She works at a cosmetics counter and meets a man who looks exactly like Ji Mong. She visits a Goryeo history exhibit, sees paintings of her past, and stops at a portrait of King Gwangjong. She sobs uncontrollably, apologizing for leaving him alone. In the past, So wipes the makeup off his scar and stares into the distance. He vows to find her, no matter what world she is in. That was Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Ryeo. If this story stayed with you, stay with me a little longer. There are other stories just as worth your time. So subscribe, and I'll see you in the next immersion.